So Michelle,
Yes.
you have a
It's my
presentation
turn. Yeah.
that is called "It Might Be Easier Than You Think."
Yeah.
Now I wrote cleansing your health and finances, but
Yes.
that's not what you wanted me to say.
Well, no, it's more about getting your health and finances on track. And I think that, you know, I'm very intrigued by the analogy and the similarities of fitness and finance and health and finance and the challenges people face when they're trying to do the right thing for their health and their fitness and they're trying to do the right thing for their finances. I think that there are a lot of overlapping themes in those areas. So we're going to use a little bit of Michelle's personal experience of the last month and talk about how those things relate.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Alrighty.
Where you're walking over there, Evan says unless they're subject to an AMT, but that's a topic for another day. I would agree. So,
are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just saying maybe it's easier than you think when it comes to getting your health or your fitness and your finances on track. You know, we say all the time that the rules for health and well-being and investing are very simple, yet they're difficult to apply, and it's all about our behavior. Because if it were easy, we would all be skinny and rich, right?
Yes.
Yes, we would all be skinny and rich if it were easy, and you know, it's all about behavior. But the truth is that 63% of adults in the United States are overweight or obese as of today. I don't remember, that's a 2009 study. So 63% of Americans are overweight, and 54% of retirees cite Social Security as a major source of income. So if you're comparing the fitness and the finance aspects, we're overweight and we're not saving enough money to be able to sustain ourselves long term into our retirement. So obviously these seemingly simple rules for investing and the simple rules for being healthy or fit are getting the best of most Americans. Why is that? It's because of behavior. So a couple of weeks ago, I did this thing about eating clean. I wanted for a long time to do some kind of a program where it was either a mono diet where you're supposed to eat really healthy for a certain period of time and eliminate all the bad stuff from your diet. And, you know, it's supposed to make you feel better and give you energy and all that good stuff. And I put it off and I put it off and I didn't do it because I thought it was going to be too hard. Because any of you who know me know that I love to have a Coke, like, every day. I love my Coke with sugar, the real thing, the whole enchilada. I like food. I like to cook. I like to eat. I like to order off of menus. Food is a very important factor in my life, and I just didn't think that I had the self-discipline to do some kind of clean eating, diety thing. So I put it off. But a couple of weeks ago, I have to admit I was getting ready to go on a cruise, so I was trying to, you know, be my thinnest for the cruise. And why? I have no idea, because you go on a cruise and you just eat the whole time anyway. But anyway, as my motivation, I used the cruise and I did a 10-day clean eating program. And my 10-day clean eating program was no coffee, no soda, no dairy, no red meat, no bread, nothing white, meaning no white sugar, white flour, potatoes, white rice, white pasta, nothing white, nothing processed, and no high fructose corn syrup.
That sounds...
What'd you eat?
I know, and the things I was allowed to have was vegetables, like any kind of vegetables pretty much, all fruits, lean meats, which only includes chicken, and fish that swim, because there's a difference between fish that swim and bottom feeders. So no shellfish, basically, which was a huge bummer for me.
Especially on a cruise.
No, well, I finished this before the cruise, obviously, but, and then I could have, like, there were some meal supplement shakes, and I could have, like, almonds and, you know,
twigs
nuts
and
yeah, twigs and, yeah, exactly. It was a twigs and berries diet. So I had to do that for 10 days, and I thought there was no way I was gonna be able to do it. And the thing that I learned is that, well, I did 10 days completely. I did not cheat. So I made it through 10 days without any of the things that I would typically eat, kind of at random or whenever I felt like it.
You are a saint.
And I didn't cheat. Exactly. I'm a saint now because I can eat clean for 10 whole days.
I would not be able to do that.
But the thing is, what I learned is that when you have a specific plan and rules for getting it done, it's not as hard as I thought. Because, you know, for me, I only have like maybe 1 or 2 sodas a day. And everybody was like, oh, the first 24 to 48 hours are going to be the hardest. I didn't really experience that at all. I thought I got bored as it got later in the game because I just wanted more variety to what I was eating. But what I learned is that I can live without Coke. I can live without pasta, or at least white pasta. I could have whole wheat pasta. So I mean, I learned that if I have a specific plan and specific rules that I need to follow, that I can actually follow the rules, and it wasn't really as hard as I thought it was gonna be. Do I wanna do it forever? No, but it was cool, and it was a good learning experience. So my theory is that when it comes to investing and planning and saving for your retirement, the same theory applies. Attacking the problem with some vague notion of what to do and really good intentions doesn't get it done. Because many people are like, oh yes, I want to save some money, but then, you know, something happens, something circumstantial right now that prevents you from saving that money, or you spend more than you should, or you put things on credit, or you go into debt. And these are the things without a plan that make it difficult to save for the long term. And a recent study by, oh gosh, who was this? The MetLife study for finances, it was just at the end of last year. 49% of female executives surveyed fear that they will outlive their retirement income. These are women who are making more than $75,000 a year, and they are participating for the most part in some kind of retirement plan, yet half of them still are afraid they will outlive their retirement income. So it's not lack of, you know, motivation or fear. Maybe it's motivation, but it's definitely not lack of fear. And 74% of female executives say that saving for retirement is the most challenging thing they face financially. So, you know, a lot of people would say that, you know, their health and well-being and fitness and being overweight is one of the most challenging things they face personally. Financially, it's saving for retirement. The point is, once you put a real action plan in place, you learn to work within those parameters. Once I had a very structured plan for which I could eat, the things I was allowed to eat, the things I wasn't allowed to eat, it made it a much more simple and easy to accomplish my goal. I had to get more creative with the way I cooked things. I had to get more creative with the things that I was willing to try or willing to eat. And the same thing can be done with your finances. When you're putting away 10% of your money, 10% of your income, you learn to live off of what you have. People are very adaptable. Human beings are resourceful, and you can find creative ways to deal with working with what you have. So my theory is that I did a 10-day challenge. I would say we should do a 6-month money challenge where, you know, if you haven't been saving for your retirement, or say you haven't been saving enough for your retirement, or you want to save more, redirect, you know, if you're not doing anything, redirect 10% of your current income. If you're already doing 10%, increase it by 2 to 5% to a savings, investment, or retirement account for 6 months and see what happens. See how you learn to live within those constraints and how you learn to manage yourself around putting that money away. Now, at Zach's recommendation, he thought that we should kind of point you in the right direction. If you're going to invest this money, you don't just want to dump it anywhere. You don't want to put it in some CD or an annuity. But if you're going to invest it, it's going to be invested for the long term, obviously for your retirement. So you're going to keep it there for a long time. So we want to just briefly touch on creating a diversified portfolio. So if we take our portfolio and our money that we're putting away, our 10%, we want to look at what the difference is when you put it in just 100% the S&P, which if you look here, you have the portfolio if you just invested 100% in the S&P, you have your annualized return at 9.67% at an 18.78 standard deviation. So when you start to diversify, if you actually turn this into a 60-40 portfolio and diversify the fixed income portion into 5-year government bonds and 1-year fixed income, you decrease your return a little bit, but look what happens to your volatility. You slash that by 6% or more. If you start breaking down your equity portion of your portfolio and add some international, half US, half international, you increase your return and still maintain that same kind of area of volatility at 11.7%. If we keep taking our equity portion and diversifying it into small US and international small stocks, we increase our return again to 10.82% and only increase our volatility to 12.62, which is still significantly lower than where we started with 100% S&P. Finally, if we add in some value investments in the equity portion, small cap value and large cap value, we increase our return to 11.34%, which is significantly higher than where we started with just the S&P and at a significantly lower standard deviation. So this is how we can invest, increase our return, reduce our volatility, keep it for the long term, and achieve what we want going forward. So the thing is that if you do this 6-month challenge, what you're going to find out is that you can actually do it. And you'll feel so good about your accomplishment that you'll want to keep doing it forever and increase the amount that you are saving because it will make you feel so much better. It's kind of like getting into a fitness program. Once you do it for a few months, you'll feel so good that you won't want to stop. That's my theory. Fitness and finance, baby.
I love it.
I think fitness and finance are totally the way to go.
Who doesn't love saving?
I don't know. I think that I just think that it's so amazing. Like once somebody actually accomplishes that and starts saving money and seeing how it can grow, how could they not want to keep doing it?
Yeah.
You know? I just think that there's such a satisfying, rewarding result from doing it that I can't imagine why you'd want to stop after 6 months.
I agree.
So 6-month money challenge.
And what's really cool, I mean, with regard to the saving, you know, you've got, you know, a diversified portfolio that we showed you essentially how to do it. You know, we'd be remiss not to tell you how to do it if we were just going to tell you to save. You know, this is a portfolio that, you know, most investors would love to have. All of our investors have it. So, you know, if you work with a massive money coach, you have access to a portfolio that is truly diversified, you know, many asset categories, 45 countries, 12,000, and we'll look at a diversified portfolio here in a second, but 12,000 holdings. I mean, that is truly awesome to know that you can take your 10% savings and allocate it to 12,000 companies all over the world. I mean, that is truly awesome.
And not a bad return.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't even touch on the magic of compounding, which I think is just one of those things that people don't even comprehend how fantastically, amazingly magical it is.
Matt says, with clean eating, it is a must to plan ahead for meals.
Yes.
Same goes for retirement planning is a must. That's absolutely correct. That is, you know.
Planning ahead for the meals was definitely like, as long as I had knew I had food that was prepared that I could eat, it was great. That was when I started to struggle, was when I got out of the habit of planning it ahead. And I think that having a plan when it comes to investing is definitely the big challenge because people don't know what to do, they don't know how much to save, they don't know where to put it. So not having a plan just leaves them floundering and afraid.
And I love your 10% number because what a lot of people don't realize is if you just take 10%, you will not miss it. You will not know that it's gone. If you don't allocate it, you will spend it.
Exactly. But I think people underestimate how adaptable they are because they think they need that money. But when you don't have it hit in your checkbook, like if it's coming out automatically out of your check or whatever it is, if the money's not in your checkbook, you learn to work around it. You just do. You stop going to Starbucks or you stop going out to dinner or, you know, going to happy hour. I don't know what it is, but you figure it out. People are adaptable.
Recent times have been tough, so to really, I mean, over the last few years, you've probably been a little bit more frugal than you have been in the past. To just continue to parlay that.
Yeah.
Probably now would be as good a time as ever to start saving.
I agree.
Or additionally saving.
Work with a coach today.
Absolutely.